They're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
And I see your senator. What a stiff. What a stiff. Lindsey Graham.
The outspoken Donald Trump, in a video produced by Time magazine, you know that Donald is getting a lot of static from the media, other Republican presidential candidates, and the establishment in general for his comments about illegal immigrants, Senator McCain's war record, and the other candidates themselves. But Donald Trump continues to climb in the polls. In fact, according to a new CNN poll, 52% of Republican voters very much want him to stay in this race. For more, let's welcome in Ronald Kessler. He's been following Donald Trump for a long time. He's also the author of The First Family Detail. Secret Service agents reveal the hidden lives of presidents. And Ronald Kessler joins us from Newsmax, New York. So I talked to Donald Trump about this. He insists this is a sincere run for president, yet you still have pundits and analysts out there saying this is not real. In your opinion, Ronald Kessler, is Trump in this for real?
I think he is. He has said that if he continues to climb in the polls, he will continue. If he plummets, then he will withdraw. And I think that's just exactly what will happen. You know, I interviewed his longtime assistant and vice president, Norma Forder, who went back to when he didn't even have an office. His office was his limousine. She was with him for almost 30 years. And she said there are two Donald Trumps. One is the outrageous one who will say things to get attention, as we see. And the other one is the real Donald. And the real Donald is this very, very competent businessman who understands, as he told me once, that the GOP should not come across as mean-spirited towards immigrants. So I think if he ever makes it to the general election, he'll know how to appeal to the general voter.
Well, you bring this up, I guess the question becomes, which Donald Trump would President Trump be?
Great question. I think the real Donald would be the one that I know going back to when I wrote a book about Palm Beach called The Season some 15 years ago and spent a lot of time with him. And that is someone who treats his employees very well, unlike Hillary Clinton. In my latest book, The First Family Detail, which is out in paperback tomorrow, I have a whole chapter on how she treats those little people that she claims she's going to champion as president with contempt. She's so nasty to Secret Service agents that being assigned to her detail is considered a form of punishment. Donald treats his employees well. He's very hands-on. He insists on the highest quality. I sat in on his meetings with architects, with lawyers, and that's why he is so successful. So, you know, if you look at track record and character, Donald is not the way he comes across sometimes when he makes these comments.
Well, we'll get to the book in a minute, but just one more question about Donald Trump, and you take a look at this. Why do you think he's made such a strong, visceral connection with the Republican base?
Well, there are many in the Republican base who like someone who just stomps up and down and is angry and says they're going to reverse what Obama has done, and that's all fine. So they go with the histrionics. But I think you need to look beneath that and see what the person is really like, what his track record is like. When Donald opened his club in Palm Beach called Mar-a-Lago, he insisted on accepting Jews and blacks, even though other clubs in Palm Beach to this day discriminate against blacks and Jews. So I could not go to lunch at these places. I could not be a member. Juan Williams could not go to lunch at these places. The old guard in Palm Beach was outraged that Donald would accept blacks and Jews. So that's the real Donald Trump that I know.
Well, with the time that remains, let's talk about your book, The First Family Detail. You talk about some behavior, maybe we could call it misbehavior, that might jeopardize national security. What are the greatest examples you uncovered?
Well, one is Joe Biden, who insists that his military aid with the nuclear football, which is required in order to launch a counter-strike against a country that might attack us, be at least a mile behind in his motorcade when he goes to Wilmington, which he goes several times a week, all at our expense. He wants to have this image of regular Joe. He doesn't want to have a big, long motorcade. So the nuclear football is a mile away, which means that it would be totally useless in the event that a bomb were taken out and there was a need to launch a counterstrike. And yet the press has totally ignored that revelation in the book. On the other hand, this is a totally nonpartisan book. I reveal that the reason that Ronald Reagan was shot is that his own White House staff overruled the Secret Service to let spectators who were unscreened within 15 feet of Reagan as he came out of the Washington Hilton, and that's why Hinckley was able to shoot him. So it was his own staff that was responsible for the fact that he almost lost his life, and the Secret Service covered this up to this day.
Well, you have some very interesting information, and it is as relevant as today's headlines, giving the challenges that the Secret Service has faced in recent months. Ron Kessler, with the book, The First Family Detail. The Secret Service agents revealed the hidden lives of the presidents, released in paperback tomorrow. So you can find it there. And of course, we always appreciate Ronald Kessler and his comments. Speaking of comments, we'd like to get comments from you. And it's easy for you to send us your comments. I mean, look at this. You can email us, Facebook us, tweet us, and use our website, newsmaxtv.com/comments. There's more to come, so stay with us.